All right, let's do this. You want to say your name and what group you're from?
Yeah. I go by the name Jerome Cook, a.k.a. Philovius Jones. One part of Elephant 12.
All right, cool. So what's your role in the group?
My role in the group is the lead, the front man, vocal.
All right, cool. What does the name Elephant 12 mean?
Yeah, basically, Elephant 12 is just a synergy, man. It's heavy, an elephant. It's the most quietest animal, well, one of the quietest animals, but, they can be quite dangerous at the same time. So we came up with the name Elephant 12 because the sound that we create sounds like 12 elephants stomping in a room.
Okay. Yeah, I was kind of wondering, like, what's up with the name Elephant 12? Okay, cool. Thanks for that explanation.
Yeah. And at the same time, too, sorry to interject.
No, go ahead.
As well as, the number 12 is in numerology, it's positive, So it all incorporated in regards to frequency and numbers and everything like that. So, people say, why not 13? Because, in numerology, 13 is not necessarily a great number. So people always say, why you pick the number 12? So numerology as well is part of the reason behind that.
Okay. So you guys didn't do 3, 4. I mean, how many people are in your group again?
There's 3 of us.
The 3 of us. Okay. Who's in your group?
So you got myself, Philovius Jones. You got Robbie Pinner, RoboCop, and then you got Mario, which is Miles.
Okay. So what are the other 2 members do in your group?
So one is the programmer, Miles do all programming, and Robo plays guitar.
Okay. So is that kind of like your live stage setup as well?
That is the live stage setup. Okay. We have Miles playing the chord EX1, both machines, sample machines, all on stage, and whilst Robbie plays the guitar, and I'm doing vocals.
All right, cool. Now, do you play any instruments yourself, or are you just doing the vocals?
In the band, no. Like when we're fooling around and messing about, we'll bring out what we can, like bring out the keys, and if we're in the rehearsal studio, we'll go on the drums, and I go on the drums, and we'll just fuck around. But in the process of what we do, essentially, we all just stick to what we do.
All right, cool, man. So where are you originally from?
J.A., man, Jamaica.
Oh, Jamaica. All right, representing, man.
Yeah, man. So, that's when I was 12, 13, turning 13, and, I moved across to Toronto and, got exposed to more than reggae.
Okay.
So, hip-hop came to me, and, in the likes of Tribe Called Quest, The Roots, Ja Rule the Damager. So with all those, Afro Rock, those are, that caught my attention at a young age. So I was like, man, I got to see where this goes, and got into it from there, really.
So are you strictly an MC, man? Do you sing at all? At least in the shower?
I love to sing in the shower, but within the band, it's very melodic, and I'm not saying MCing is not melodic, but we try and incorporate, instead of chant, we try and incorporate a lot of melodic choruses, and so there's a slight bit of singing involved. I won't say I'm a trained singer or a gifted singer or anything like that. No.
So does Robbie or Miles, do they do any vocals themselves, or are they pretty much just the instrumentalists of it?
They're pretty much the instrumental. I wish they would do a bit of vocals, they want to hang out a bit, but no, especially live.
Right.
They just strictly focus on their instrument.
All right. I mean, what are some of the challenges in doing that, since you're pretty much the only one doing it, or is there a challenge? When you're doing it, all the vocals yourself?
I think the challenge comes from it being live, because there's certain things you could do in the studio where you can't do live. There's not 4 or 5 of me on stage, right? So there could be a bit more vocals or harmony or something going on stage live. You know, we're now trying to sort that out by having maybe samples of my vocals incorporated in the live aspect of the show. So yeah, you know, so I wouldn't say it's a difficulty. It's more of a challenge.
Okay. So how would you describe Elephant 12's sound? If you
can. The sound is I would say in one sense it's punchy electro. So you got this punchy electro infused rock with a bit of rap.
Okay, you said punchy?
Punchy, yeah.
Punchy, okay.
Punchy electro, you know, with infused rock at the T, but
right.
You know, so you get this sound of like, you know, a rock element, so it's, you know, electro rock. That's what I would call it, electro rock.
Okay. What projects are you guys working on right now?
Well, we just finished off the EP, a self-titled EP, Elephant 12, and it has, we've been working on it since just about the last year or so, 2 years. Well, we've had songs written for the last two and a half years, but working on the EP, picking and choosing which song we want for the EP. We've been working on that for the whole last year and this year. So the EP we wrote a couple of new songs that we're thinking of doing as a single, release after the EP as well. So yeah.
All right, cool. What's the? I know you sent me a link. What's the latest track that you guys have available?
Yeah, so that's what I was saying to you. We wrote 2 new songs, so we were thinking of releasing that after the EP. And one is it's called Renegade, and the other song is called Turn Me Up. Turn Me Up, basically, I wrote that song after watching seeing Public Enemy documentary. Basically, their first time in the UK. There's this DVD where their first time at Hammersmith Apollo in London, UK, England. I think they were touring with LL Cool J at the time, and the documentary was just riveting, man. It just caught me in how the people in England took to Public Enemy way before the Americans did. That was like, wow, you know, here they are, and the social movement at the time too, you know, like what they were saying, even though it was for America in regards to being black and being, you know, having that sense of awareness of power and you know, and trying to be a social movement going on. And here in London, you know, they had their things as well, you know, whether, you know, the Africans and the West Indies, you know, coming there and then being the second generation after you know, their parents moved into, just a bit of history quickly, the RAF in the 60s and the 50s, and now, you know, the 80s, and you have this movement of first generation of, you know, blacks there, and trying to find their sense of identity as well. So they connected with Public Enemy, and I was like, whoa, this is mad. And then I had to write this song, Turn Me Up, just a tribute to Public Enemy. And so, yeah, that's one of the new songs. And Renegade is basically a jazz-infused rock element. You know, very heavy. Those songs are heavy and very guitar-driven sound. Yeah, so yeah, I'm really feeling those 2 new songs at the moment, you know.
Okay. Do you want to kind of explain how you got to the UK and how you met? I believe it was Robbie.
Yeah, to make a quick story, you know, Q-Tip was playing in UK for the first time since in about like 12 or 15 years, something ridiculous like that. And it was when he released the Renaissance. So we're looking about 4 or 5 years ago now, I think. About 4 years ago, 4 years ago now. And the Renaissance came out, and I was trying to find tickets, and Robbie was flying at the event, and I was like, yo, is there any tickets? And he's like, no, it's sold out. And I just started chopping it up with him, and he told me he played the guitar, and I was like, whoa, cool, I do this and that. And he's like, whoa, okay, maybe we should jam sometime. And I was like, wicked. Exchanged numbers. We didn't talk for about a good 6 months. bumped into him at a bus stop, a night bus, and we chopped it up. He's like, yo, come around my place. I went upstairs on top of the double-decker bus. I bumped into Miles, and he was like, yo, what you do? Chopped it up with him. Apparently, they had met that night as well. I didn't know. They met that same night. And he's like, oh, yeah. So I said, let's chop it up. And then I got them. We all got together, Robbie, Miles, and myself, and we just chopped it up over a gig of our, a jamming session. We wrote 3 new songs in that one night, So we're like, yo, this is something here. Let's try and make something out of it,
All right, cool, man. All right, so you want to say the name of the track once again?
So
it's available for download.
Turn Me Up and Renegade, but we have loads of songs. We have Diet Coke. Diet Coke is a great song. That's probably our most well-known song at the moment.
Okay.
And we have a song out for a video we did on green screen called Holiday. So yeah, those are probably the songs to look out for.
All right, cool, man. What's the website, man, that people can check you out on?
Well, for all music and everything related to music, they could go onto our website, which is elephant12.com, and there's a link right there for our SoundCloud page. So it's easier, or they could go onto SoundCloud/elephant1212 and get all the music there as well.
All right, cool, man. Well, before I break, man, I have to ask this question. I ask this question to everybody. So what's, outside of, music, what do you like to do? What's your hobby or hobbies? What do you like to do, man?
Man, it's funny enough you ask that question because I've always been a person who's very big into spoken word. And I used to love that slam competition, just checking out, Saul Williams and Talima, just all these different guys that were on the circuit in the late part of the 2008-9 period, whatnot. But I don't really follow it no more. But that was a big thing of mine, and other than that, strictly outside of making music, I really like listening to music. So music really takes up most of my day if I'm not doing the day job, the JLB.
Right.
Literally, I constantly listen to music, whether it's mainstream or just old school 60s rock, 70s rock, or hip-hop, or dive into the new stuff that's out, dubstep. I constantly try and just guide myself in music. So that's where my head is at, to be honest, at this moment.
All right, cool. So the website, one more time?
Elephant12, that's elephant12.com, or soundcloud.com/elephant12.
All right, cool. Well, thanks, Jerome, for taking time out, man. Appreciate it. It's always good talking to you.
Thank you, man. Thanks for, this long-awaited journey that we were trying to link up for the last week, but we got it done.
No, finally, man. Yeah, we did it, man. All right, man. So yeah, just look out for the link. Everybody look out for the link, and thanks again. All right, Jerome. All right, peace.